let's get right to our agenda then, because I know you're all busy. So the first thing, Dan, you want to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Get Lois to do the words.
I
Go on.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
of America and
And
to the republic
for which it
which it
stands,
stands, one nation, under God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
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 liberty
liberty and justice for all.
Okay, that sounds good. Sometimes I get it mixed up with the Nicene Creed and I start saying that. Oh, age is a wonderful thing. All right, so we'll launch right into our minutes. I sent you all minutes. Did you have any objections to the minutes of May 30th, 2024, which we never approved for some reason, or December 16th, 2024?
No objections
No.
from me.
Okay. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve. Yeah.
Okay. Second?
second.
Okay, all in favor?
I
Aye.
Okay, great. One thing is off our list. Next, we have a number of invoices. And they are, I have them all stapled together here. To renew our membership in the American Association of State and Local History for $95. To renew our membership in Historic New England for $150. And then to reimburse me for the rental of the post office box, which has really gone up. It's $234 for that. And for renewal of our website, Wakefield, historicwakefield.com, which is $105.19, and some paper for resume paper to submit something to the time capsule. It had to be special paper. Anyway, so that means you'd be reimbursing me $352.23 altogether for those three things. So, any questions about any of those things?
The time capsule, is there some kind of message that's going to be on it?
Well, all departments, and especially the Historical Commission, were invited to submit something for the time capsule that will be buried in the, or I don't know, encased somehow in the Soldiers and Sailors Monument, which is going to be rededicated on the 31st of May. And the paper needed to be especially archival paper, so it's 100% cotton resume paper, basically. But it costs a little more. It costs, I don't know, $13, and I thought really town should pay for that. So that's what that is.
But
And then the,
on it,
pardon me, Dan?
is there any particular message from the Historical Commission on that document?
Well, yeah, I think we'll kind of give them a bunch of, I've been doing a lot of historical research about the monument, the Civil War, you name it. I know an awful lot about the Civil War as it pertained to Wakefield. And so the message is basically that we are hoping that the history will be preserved, and we'll give a lot of it to be tucked into the time capsule. I'm sure it'll be around anyway, but you know, just for the heck of it.
Yeah. I just left the Veterans Advisory Board meeting, and they basically have the same thing for the time capsule, but they give a little resume on what the Veterans Advisory Board was about and the present members that are on that that advisory board.
Okay, you want to
And-
do that?
We're gonna put something at the town clerk's office that we can all sign it personally. We
Okay,
think Town clerk would be the, nearest central point that we could all sign it.
okay. Would you guys like that?
Yeah, sure.
Would
Yeah, that
both of you
sounds
be able
interesting.
to, should I be able to get that over to the town clerk by, you know, Tuesday or of next
Mhm.
week? You could stop by there.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, that's a great idea.
Okay, Dan, thank you for that idea.
Yeah.
Thank you to the Veterans Advisory Committee.
What happens when you have so many meetings all at the same night?
We'll see that. We get all the best of all the meetings from Dan, so we'll definitely do that then. The final invoice is from Sardella Sign to make two signs, basically. I sent you guys a picture of the two signs so that you'd know exactly what they were. One is to replace a badly damaged sign, and the other one is to create a little sign for the bell from the First Baptist Church, which the DPW was able to salvage kind of and bring it over to the schoolyard of the museum so that people could see it. And so it just gives a little, really little history of the bell, 1872. It fell from the steeple into the basement, and it was quite, I guess it was quite exciting for them way back in 2018. It doesn't seem that long ago, but of course it is, when they did find it. But it is badly damaged. However, it's a nice reminder of that building. And
I'm surprised the First Baptist Church didn't have it in their own new church, build some little shelter for it, and, it's their bell.
I know. Well, they did consider it, and it had been an ongoing discussion back and forth what they were going to do with the bell. Same with the Unitarian Church. I don't know. We might end up with lots of bells. I don't know. But we do have this one, and it is damaged, and it's sad to see it. But still, I think it's a good thing to have saved it and a little info on it. It's right next to the horse trough, which we also have there. Maybe we can collect little bits of history from the town, bring them all together in the yard so people could see them anytime.
Is that the same one and only horse trough? Or was there more than one?
Oh, there were loads of them.
Because I remember one was up by the front of the rockery, and they moved it down to in back of the Hot Sun House.
This one came from Greenwood, and it was moved to the back of the Hartshorn house.
Okay,
I don't know where the one that was near the rockery was.
I think it was right at the point of the rockery.
I know, I've seen pictures of it, but I don't know where it physically went. I have found articles on the horse trough that was in the item when the guy who got the horse trough originally had it moved to the back of the Hartshorn house. But we moved it from there to the schoolhouse because it was in the back of the Hartshorn house. Really, people were not seeing it. So we moved it to a more prominent location. But the article stated that that one was from Greenwood. I can look up that article for you, Dan, and send it to you. I don't know what happened, but there were loads of, there were loads of horses. So there were loads of horse draws in town. But so anyway, that's $645 for those two signs. So the total for those expenditures is $1,200 $45.23. Any questions?
What do we get for a total budget for the year from the
Mhm.
historical commission?
$2,000. Good question, because that means that we have, we could purchase another sign, another interpretive marker for the old burying ground. If we can get it done within a month, and Bob Sardella tells me that he can do it. So, after we approve this, I want to discuss that with you guys, okay?
I think it's kind of a shame that, and this is my own personal opinion, that this town cannot spend more money to preserve Wakefield's history more than $2,000.
I agree with you 100%, of course. It's, and the fact that we have so little, I kind of don't want the commission to spend its money until the end of the year, because you never know what might come up. Because we have no leeway, so, but I do need a motion for this $1,245.23. Do I have a motion to approve that?
Motion two.
Okay. Second?
Second.
Okay. My husband said, make sure you write down all those things. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
You think that ought to be a voice vote where it's money?
Voice vote. Dan, you are great. I don't know what we would do without you.
I'm kind of losing it as it is.
Okay, Dan, what do you think? Okay, yay or nay?
Yes.
Okay. Trez?
Yes.
Okay. Mark?
Yes.
iPhone?
The open meeting law.
Okay. All right. So I guess I want to know if you guys would approve the expenditure of another $450 for another sign for the old burying ground. We have a couple in there, but I know there are people that like to just kind of wander through, and a little more information for them as they're looking at the gravestones would be helpful. And we've added to them very gradually over the years. So, what do you think about that?
Absolutely.
Are you in favor of that?
Yes. Do you know exactly what the sign would say specifically, or just like, I'm just curious, but
Well, it depends on where it will be located.
Okay.
I'll have to send, I'm having real mobility issues. So I don't think I can personally go to the old burying ground at this point, because I can't walk over rough, unlevel ground. So, so I'm going to have to send my scouts to to tell me where the signs are that are already in place. But I know just from giving the tour of the old burying ground so many times where the areas are that people are most interested in, have the most questions about.
Mhm.
So, yeah. So would you approve that?
I would, yes.
Okay, all in
Yeah.
favor of that? This is not spending the money. This is just getting the formal estimate.
Motion
So,
approve.
okay, all right. So, and that means we have to meet at the end of the end of June before the town's budget closes for the fiscal year. So you are, by agreeing to this, you are agreeing to yet another meeting at the end of June. Okay.
Nancy, quick question. Any money that's left over at the end of the fiscal year, does it get carried over, or do you lose it?
It's use it or lose it.
Yeah.
And frankly, the website payment of $105 comes due at the very end of June. And so from last year, I basically paid that last year, and I'm just getting repaid for it now. So it would be good for
Mhm.
me if we paid for it in June as opposed to, letting another year go
Yeah.
by for the next fiscal year. We do carry a small amount of money, $450. Um, Way back when I used to go around and give talks about the old burying ground to groups, slideshows, and things like that, and they would give me a donation toward the old burying ground, and I just gave it to the historical commission, and so that money, it's now the grand total of $450 altogether, and that gets carried because that's a special thing.
Mhm.
And so sooner or later we'll have to spend that. But the rest of the budget, the $2,000, if we don't spend it, it's gone. It goes back to the town. And I think we'll only have pennies left maybe this year. And that's good.
Has
Yeah.
anybody ever thought about interpretive panels to put on like the old burying ground? And it's like a 4x4 sheet with maybe like a clear Lexan or plastic top on it. When I go up in the summer to Nova Scotia, all the events and everything in town, they have these interpretive panels that have got writing and also pictures on them. But they carefully explain everything that's going on in an old factory or old fish plant or you name it. But I don't
Well,
possibly.
there's a cost to that, Dan. My daughter is works for the Newport Historical Society now. Uh, and she told me, she said, "Oh, they're so cheap." I said, "How much are they?" Kind of ballpark. She said, "Oh God, you can get one for $3,000." I said, "Oh, okay. Well, never mind then." It's
So we were restricted to get whatever the town gives us for money to spend. That's all the money that can be raised by the historical commission. Or can we raise it from other ways?
I think if we had a specific project, uh, I personally think it's very difficult to deal with town accounting for the in raising funds. Look at that $450 that I raised all those years ago. Had it gotten interest, oh my gosh, it couldn't have been 460 by now. um, but it's difficult. It's difficult to spend it. I think had I given it to the historical society, they could have done something with it, or had I given it to the Hartshorn House, but I didn't. I gave it to the town, which is
Yeah.
kind of maybe silly, but I was like, I didn't know.
Well, I know on your taxes, they have like a write-off box at the bottom, almost like your income tax, and it'd be
Right.
used for, rainy day fund or for like veterans. But they couldn't have something for preservation of Wakefield history.
Not in,
My own opinion, again.
yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know within the town, within the framework of the town mechanism. I don't think so. I don't know. If we wanted to spend money on something, we'd have to go to town meeting. And we could do that if we had a project in mind now and we knew exactly how much it was going to cost. We could go to the next town meeting and outline it and argue our case, and maybe we could get it funded.
But we could sponsor an article.
Right, exactly. Which is precisely how the article was funded for the rededication for the monument, the work on the monument, which did cost the town $300,000. So I think the town has paid for some historic preservation.
Yeah.
That I credit almost 100% to the work of Bob Vincent, who was on the town council, and he really had this idea and shepherded it through, and is now in charge of this rededication of the monument, which will take place on May 31st. And It is a thing that will go on the Common and various places from 12 o'clock until 5 o'clock. On the Common, there will be things like there were some reenactors, be some guys firing off cannons, some people in costume, things like that. There will be bands going, band music as well on the Common. I'm probably going to be forgetting something, but I'm going to send you all a link to a website, which is basically wakefield.ma.us/monument that has a schedule of events. In the First Baptist Church, they're opening up their hall to us, and the high school AP students have gotten involved with this project and researched the various battles that South Reading, we were South Reading then, not Wakefield, that the South Reading soldiers took part in. And so those things will be on display in there, as well as um, some things from the library. The library has uncovered a bunch of letters from a Civil War soldier um, whose name was Isaac Green and lived in Greenwood. And the Isaac Green house is still actually there, almost in the middle of Main Street. As you go into Greenwood, you see the houses just about in the street, and that's the Isaac Green house, an 18th century house. Anyway, the library has transcribed the letters and has an exhibit that will be on display in the First Baptist Church. And they also have something going on at the library itself. From the Common, you can take a shuttle. You can go to the Wakefield History Museum, where you will find a whole lot of stuff. Oh, look at all the stuff. It's over here right now. We have all kinds of artifacts and paintings and photographs. And I did the biographies of the 46 or 47 soldiers from South Reading who were killed in the Civil War. Have all their biographies and some of their photographs. And then a whole lot of other things are all on display as well, including soldiers' souvenirs. One poor guy was in the middle of a battle and he was fired at, and his life was saved because the bullet hit his pocket watch. And we have the pocket watch, and we have things that are soldiers that were captive in Libby's prison and Andersonville, um, those kinds of things. We have a flag that was captured at Bull Run. Well, it wasn't captured, it was more picked up, but wasn't a winning battle. But anyway, there's a whole lot of things to do and see over at the uh, Wakefield History Museum from 12 to 2:30. You can take a shuttle from the Common, or you can drive directly to 39 Prospect Street and stop in there. We also will have a Civil War reenactor there. Um, and then you can go down the street to the Hartshorn House, where there will also be um, some like kind of Wakefield on the home front, showing one family Civil War, the effect of the Civil War on the Hartshorn family, just a regular, normal family living in South Reading at the time, um, but how it affected them and how they reacted to it. So it's interesting. And then go back to the Common because there is a big ceremony at 3 o'clock. And I think more bands and a couple of speeches and should be fun.
What hall should be open too? Because there's something right in the first floor lobby there. I believe
Pardon? Uh, will what be open?
the town hall itself.
I bet it will be probably just in the lobby. It's a good point again, Dan. Um, in the lobby of the town hall is our memorial tablets that were done by the town prior to the opening of the old town hall. The old town hall, which was near, is where farmland or across the street from farmland in we call it the Old Town Hall parking lot for a reason. It's in between where Hart's Hardware is, and it's on Lincoln Street there. That's where the old town hall was. A magnificent building donated to the town by Cyrus Wakefield. Um, and he sought to unite two purposes. One was to give the town a new town building, municipal building, and then he also wanted to have a place where we could remember the Civil War soldiers. And so these memorial tablets were put into place on the first floor of the old town hall. When they moved, when they tore that building down, they salvaged them and put them in the building that they are in now, which was the town's old high school building. So
What was the original cost of the Civil War monument itself? I know it was donated by a woman,
Harriet Flint,
Harriet Flint, yeah.
yeah,
And what was the original cost?
she donated $10,000, and I think there was some interest that accrued because it took them a while to figure out what they were going to do. Um, we have and I figured out I did know and I have to look it up, but how much that would mean now. It would like a lot of money, like hundreds of thousands of dollars in today's money to do that monument. And it was designed by a guy named Melzar Hunt Mossman. And he had just a couple of years earlier done another monument in Saugus with only two figures in it, though. So if you're ever driving around in Saugus and you see that, you'll go, aha, that's the same guy that did our Civil War monument. But he also did monuments all over the place. In Gettysburg, he designed the doors to a magnificent building. Um, in Washington, D.C., he was a significant sculptor and had a factory of craftsmen in Chicopee. And anyway, there's a whole lot on this monument that is online at our website.
Well, it's $10,000 donated to the town by Harriet, but it was
Okay.
also said to I guess the town council, or would be probably the selectmen at the time, that the town will always preserve it and
Yeah,
take care of it. And it's been over 100 years now, and yeah, $300,000, but we promised we'd take care of that monument.
that's right. And Dan, I'm sure you remember, and everybody knows, the monument was badly damaged in the 70s. And it's
That's when the
taken
fence, I
this,
think, put up around it.
yeah, it's taken this long to fix it, though, because there were other things wrong with it. I mean, that we would not necessarily have known things about that because it was actually three separate structures. Um, so when they started taking it apart, and it was all done, um, looked into and done by an organization called Daedalus, Daedalus, which has done uh, monuments in Boston and other places. I mean, they are the best in the field. So we are very, very lucky that we are getting this monument rededicated. It should be a fun day. We're knocking wood for, everything. So I hope you guys can come down to see it. And that was on our agenda, actually, to tell you all about the rededication. And I think I've done that. Did you have any questions?
No?
Okay. All right. Well, then, if there are no other
I
questions,
have
I will.
one question from somebody on the Commission on Disabilities. And I know you've always said between the Lake Avenue and the bandstand, notice I use the word bandstand,
Yeah,
that was a cemetery at one time.
yeah,
And there could possibly be still bodies buried there.
yeah, there are.
And the Commission on Disabilities wanted to put like a wheelchair ramp up to the bandstand, made out of some kind of material like the fiber or rubber they use at a playground.
Oh, no, no,
You know,
no,
hard enough, but that's what they were thinking of doing.
no, no, no.
they wanted to bring that up.
I think that
All
would,
ground,
I think that would be something that we would like to work on with the Commission on Disabilities Issues, because in order to do it in a way that would be accessible
Yeah.
and also historically appropriate. And I think playground material, rubber or whatever, via no. But I bet you we could find a solution, and I
They were
bet you that
talking-
the town engineer would help us.
yeah, Bill Renault.
Yeah,
I know they, because I had said that they have the pathway on the floral way is like a stone dust. And
right.
it's still getting washed away.
It's what?
I thought it was being washed away slowly again. Just
See,
want to put like a hot top surface in there, or
oh, Dan, no. No, I think let's talk to the town engineer. Let's have him come and talk to us about it. Or let's send him a letter or something. I don't think we had a lot of discussion about this before, and everybody was united in saying that we don't want that to be paved.
okay.
That's not appropriate for that area. And certainly we don't want any paving materials on top. It is unquestionable that there are probably hundreds of bodies buried on that common, specifically in one particular area. So I actually have a little map and stuff like that, so maybe we could avoid that area. But there are ways we could work this out if we can work together.
That's one woman that uses a wheelchair that had brought that fact up. But, I said, you get across to the common towards the bandstand, you start hitting a rise in the hill.
Right.
It's on a little knoll like.
Right.
So, but she brought it up, and I said, I'll bring it up to the historical commission. So,
Well, and you have, and I would be happy to talk to her about it, but and Lord knows, I am feeling like I need to be on the disability commission myself. So I'm certainly sensitive to that, but the historically appropriate solution has to be found.
well, I had said to her at first, I says, you could put something across, but I don't think we're digging down that deep.
Absolutely not. No, no. Oh, good Lord. Okay, because next year I would like to put a sign on the common, um, tasteful, and yet letting people know that this was the first burying place for the town, and it was used from 1644 until 1770. People were still being buried there. So
That includes the parking lot in back of the church, right?
right, but they were still burying people on the common as well, and we know they didn't move any people from there. So we need to be respectful of that. And I think that needs to be marked. I don't want it to be like, oh, you can't have any fun here. But but we do need to respect it. So anyway, we can talk about that next year. If we all live through the May 31st, which yeah, might kill me. I don't know. But um, at this point, can we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second.
Okay. All right. I'm going to call on you all to get together for a little tiny meeting at the end of June. Okay. And I'll
Okay.
give adequate notice, and it'll be a quick meeting.
Okay.
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 All right. All right. Well, thank you all. Nice to see you. And I hope you get a chance to come down to the rededication.
Okay.